Hey guys, what's going on? It is Dan Lags, and guys, today is January 7th, 2018, and today marks the 5-year anniversary of the start of Danville. January 7th, 2013, that was the first day that I started working on my first town project in Minecraft Xbox 360 edition. So today we're going to be doing a little anniversary special for that 5-year mark. And I am going to be recapping all of the Danville upgrades that I did throughout 2017. So here's where it all started, guys. This was the first thing that I built, this intersection of roads. 5 years ago today, January 7th, I was working on this. And I gotta admit, I can't tell if it feels like a long time since I started working on this, or it doesn't feel like 5 years. It's like seems like 5 years is a long time ago, but for some reason it feels like it was longer ago. I don't know why, but just crazy. It's been 5 years since this terribly built intersection was started here in Danville. But anyway, let's stop reminiscing here and let's go ahead and start recapping the upgrades that I built. So we're starting off here with my first upgrade, and this was the American traditional house. And this was the first upgrade that I did. I did it on February 1st, 2017. So it was about 11 months ago. Is when I started the upgrades. I've been averaging about one upgrade per month since I started doing them. So this was the first one, originally built out of stone slabs. We decided to use some of the terracotta at the time. I think this was actually right before the concrete came out on Xbox Minecraft. So we didn't quite have that yet, but we did have banners and things like that. And this is an interesting upgrade because this was really before I started to expand on these a little bit. And this is the only one where the actual dimensions of the house are pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that's been changed was actually, the block choice. And the interior is obviously completely revamped as well, so it's just a little bit more updated, I guess. We have like the kitchen and the dining room. Up here we have the master bedroom. So I'm not going to go through too much detail on every single one of these upgrades, guys, just because, there's videos for that. I'm actually going to put the links to all the upgrades that we've completed so far in the description, as well as the cinematic to the first ever Danville video that I made when I started my YouTube channel. Because if you guys remember, even though Danville was started on January 7th, 2013, I didn't start my YouTube channel until a few months later. So I had a lot of builds kind of saved up when I started my channel, which was really, really good for starting off. But anyway, enough rambling on here. Let's move on to the second upgrade. Alright, so here's upgrade number 2, and this is the Nether House. So this was the first one where I started to take some liberties with it and really go outside the box. Not only did I make the structure of this one significantly larger, but also change the colors and the floor plan completely. There were a few things that I tried to keep relatively similar, like the tower on the side. That was kind of one of the main viewpoints of the original build. But other than that, though, very different build, a lot larger in scale. It fits the property actually surprisingly well. I actually really like how this wall here is like right up against the road. I don't know why, I just really like that. And then we have a garage add-on in the back. Everything on this house turned out pretty good actually. This is actually still one of my favorite upgrades that we've done, just because it's so unique in terms of the block choice. So we'll check out the interior real quick. It's actually pretty similar to the last one. We kind of the living room here, and the staircase is kind of tucked behind the television. We go up here. We got some bathrooms, and we got an office in here, a bedroom in here. Looks like this might be either a closet. Yep. So yeah, it's not a huge house, but we were able to fit in a little bit of space to it. What is over here in this room? I think this is another office or something like that. So yeah, we were able to fit in one bedroom to this house. Not huge, but it's definitely a cool upgrade. It's one of the ones that was really, really changed from the original, and you'll kind of see that more as we run through these. So speaking of significant change from the original, I mean, this one right here, this was a house that Jack built, and this thing was like the silly log cabin originally, and turned it into a nice looking wooden lodge with some green wool as well in the banners. Yeah, this house changed significantly. There's really not a lot similar to the original in this one at all, and the few references that I did include was the assorted leaves and the block choice. That's about it. Other than that, this might be the most drastic change in terms of the revamps that I've done. There's not a lot of similarities with this one at all. We even added the extra garage building off to the side. And this one really has an open floor plan on the interior. Like the whole lodge is just completely open all the way to the ceiling. That was just a style I chose to go with. It's kind of a impractical interior design, but The original really didn't have anything at all, so I kind of just took my liberties with it. Built a kitchen over here, built a dining room, and then there's like a loft almost where the bed is up on the second level. I still think this one's pretty cool. It's obviously super different from the original that Jack built. Upgrade number 4, we have the modern house. This one was built by my buddy Steven, and this is actually still one of my favorite upgrades that I've done throughout the year. In fact, I was really considering putting this one on my top 5 favorite houses of 2017 countdown that I did a few months ago. I love this one. I just think it just turned out perfectly. It's got a lot of modern aspects to it with the snow. My favorite part about this one is this gradual staircase of the snow caps that comes all the way down to this stone level and wraps around the infinity pool. Definitely my favorite part about this build. There's also this little river thing that runs right underneath of the house. It's kind of just an architectural theme from back to front. You can kind of see it running through underneath. I thought that was pretty cool. And the interior as well, some interesting themes here. Really like the acacia wood for the floor here in this kitchen, as well as some more of the snow caps used in here, so we can kind of create a 7 of 8 block layer here. Second floor, cool staircase with this waterfall, some kind of shrubbery underneath. And then upstairs is pretty much all dedicated to the bedroom space. We have the bathroom, very open, very cool build. And this one does have a lot of features that are similar to the original, kind of like these little pillars of sandstone. That's a direct reference to the original build. And ultimately, it's still pretty similar to the original, but I think the improvement on this one was significant, which is why it's one of my favorites. All right, guys, upgrade number 5, we got the glowstone bar and grill. And I recently added something to this. I went ahead and added the black concrete as opposed to the coal. I only did it on one of them, but I just kind of wanted to show the compare and contrast there. I did that on my stream. And this is actually the first restaurant, or non-house, I guess you could say, that we upgraded. And this is another one that's pretty similar to the last one in terms of the overall structure of it is still fairly similar to the original. Block choice as well, but it's just improved in every way possible. Let's go inside here. So we kind of have the reception area, and then you walk right in. You have the bar. You got a bunch of booths and some tables. There's also even a outdoor patio out here. In here we have the restrooms. Or I think there's just one restroom on this one. I like how I put these end rods in the archways there. I think that's pretty cool. And then in here is the kitchen. So glowstone bar and grill. This is one had a pretty strange interior on the original. It's kind of like multi-level. It had a lot of glowstone. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of glowstone here, despite the name. But we have the subtle reference to glowstone out front here, which is exactly why we named it that. So there's the glowstone bar and grill. Love this one. It's the first restaurant we did. Turned out great. It was actually a lot of hard work trying to figure out how I want to do this main area of the build. This part was pretty easy because I definitely wanted to do like a wide window. But this part I just could not get right. I kept on trial and erroring it until I finally got something I wanted. But still a cool upgrade. Let's move on. Going right across the street here, we have the New England style cottage. And this is another one. It's pretty similar to the last two in terms of it's pretty similar to the original. In fact, I would compare this one favorably to the very first upgrade that I did in terms of its style. And I really didn't make a whole lot of changes to the dimensions of the build. We kept the garage connecting to the main part of the house and just basically improved the block choice and just overall structure in pretty much every way, just like we've been trying to do for all these. I think I ran out of space for these banners here. You can see there's no banners on the back. I think I ran out of banners. Unfortunately, there is a limit to how many you can place on a Xbox world, which really sucks. So in here, banners are so great. You can use them for couches. You can use them for shutters. You can use them for artwork on walls in modern houses. There's so many options for them. So it kind of sucks that there's a limit on them, kind of like the paintings as well. So in here, we got a kitchen, little living room space, and then upstairs, I believe we have 2 bedrooms possibly. I think we might have fit 2 of them in here. Yeah, we did. So we have kind of a master and then another one as well. So just a small cottage, nothing to it. Green interior. Definitely an improvement on the original, but it's still a cool build. And this one I wanted to kind of keep similar to the original because I actually still like the original a lot. So I didn't want to change it up too much. Our next upgrade up on the list is this one right here. This is a Cyan House that I turned into a 2-floor build. This one actually got a pretty significant change. The block choice, I went with some concrete on this one. This was actually pretty shortly after the concrete was released on Xbox. And again, there's not a lot of similarities to the original on this one. Obviously, there has been increased to 2 levels instead of just a first floor house. There's kind of this extension off the front that I tried to reference here with this quartz part. Just a subtle reference there. And it's cool. I like this one. This one turned out pretty good. I like the way I used the anvils on the edge of the roof and everything. And there's also this back balcony as well, I think turned out pretty good. Fit the space quite nicely. Let's check out the interior real quick. I think we're going to find pretty open space in here. Staircase tucked in the corner. I like this area of the house a lot. I think this kitchen with these lights coming down as well as this table turned out pretty cool. We used some of the glazed terracotta. This was like some of our first experimenting with it. There's a little living room in here. Let's check out the second floor real quick. See if we can find one of the bedrooms. There it is. So obviously we were really into the glazed terracotta when I was building this one. For good reason. It's a great block, and this is a cool build as well. So now we're moving on to another modern house, and this is where you're going to start seeing a little theme develop here, guys. This was actually originally called the Architect's House. No idea why I named it that. It just had a lot of glass, and it was a really stupid looking build, but we made some big changes to it. This one doesn't really represent the original too well, but my thought process for this one was not necessarily to make it look like the original, but kind of match the theme of the area. So you might notice that this house has these slivers of snow that are running through all the walls, right? And that's a very similar theme to this house that we showed a little bit earlier in the video. So I kind of wanted to have these modern houses almost look like they were built by the same architect in this area of the map. And you're going to see more of that later on in the video. This is kind of how I've been doing modern houses recently. I really like using the snow still. Snow is like the original modern block in the default texture pack. I actually still really like using it because I love these little slivers that you can create with the snow caps. I love that. It's one of my favorite features for modern houses. And that's kind of like the main theme with this one. I really like the interior on this one as well. I love this main foyer area with the glazed terracotta. I like this line of slabs that goes across running underneath the staircase glass. And then of course we have just a nice contrast of grays and whites in here. And then we have kind of like this open space for the living room, the loft up on the second floor. And then we have the kitchen here, which has a ton of natural light. It's always good to have that in modern houses. I actually really like this window. It's one of my favorite parts of the build. So this is actually one of my favorite upgrades. It was one of the ones that got off to a rocky start. I was having a hard time coming up with a concept for it, but once it finally came through in the end, it's definitely one of my favorite upgrades. So for this next upgrade, guys, we were going outside the box again, and we built a water house. Kind of upgraded one of my classic builds. And this one, I went with the full-blown ocean monument theme. We got the dark prismarine, we got the prismarine, we got the water, we got it all. And I think this one's pretty creative and fun. I really like the way this one turned out. I also used a lot of blue glass. Definitely fits that theme. Used some sea lanterns as well. Tried to, play off that like ocean vibe that I was going for with this one. The original really didn't have anything to do with the ocean. It was just kind of a water house. That was the whole theme behind it. So I wanted to expand on that a little bit. I thought kind of creating almost like an ocean monument house was the best way to go with this. I like the way I did this TV with the glass panes coming down from the ceiling. That's pretty cool. It's like a widescreen hanging on the wall. Managed to fit a bathroom in here. Very oceanic. And then the interesting part about this build was I didn't use any staircase or even a ladder. I actually used a water elevator that takes you up to the second floor. I thought that was fitting, since if you're going to be living in this house, you're some sort of aquatic beast. So you just take the little water chute right up to the second floor. So yeah, working with water is sometimes interesting in Minecraft, especially when you're trying to do it with houses. It's not really that practical, but it's definitely fun to mess around with every once in a while. I tried to build basically like a modern house with the ocean blocks essentially, and I thought it turned out really cool. So here we go. We got another one that is also pretty different from the rest of the upgrades. This is the apartment building, and we're used to doing houses. This is not a house at all. This one took one of the longest times to create. In fact, it's not even done. I only furnished the first 2 floors. I just didn't feel like furnishing the whole thing. It was just going to take way too long for one video. But this apartment building got a huge upgrade, and I'm talking about size, because this thing, I think originally it was like maybe 45, 50 blocks tall. Now it's like 85 blocks tall. It almost doubled in height. My theme behind this one, I wanted to go for the same number of floors, but I significantly increased the height of the ceilings. I think I went from either 2 or 3 block tall ceilings to 5 block tall ceilings, and I think there's an 8 block tall ceiling on the first floor. So really upgraded that significantly and tried to just create like a modern apartment building. In some ways, I really like these balconies that I built out of the gray concrete. Used a lot of stone. I think using brick as kind of a foundation for builds like this just works really well. Also mixed in some green as kind of some modern features on the side, just so this wasn't a completely flat gray wall. Take a look at the back as well. So yeah, it's got some cool themes. I decided to take the parking lot, which was originally behind the build, and place it out in front. Completely redid that. Let's take a look at one of the apartments real quick. Go through it super quick. So right here, I mean, this is the elevator and the staircase that goes up to every level. We have some laundry space here for the first floor's apartment. And it's very open, you know, kitchen, living room, bathroom stuck in the corner. And then we have a bedroom in here. And then every single one of these apartments has a balcony to the next level. So I thought it turned out pretty cool. Just to give you guys a sneak peek of the second level as well. I think there's only one apartment per floor. Originally I was planning on doing 2, but I just decided there wasn't a ton of space, and to keep some continuity to the original, that one also had 1 apartment per floor. So that was kind of my thought process behind this one. But yeah, it's not super similar in terms of the look to the original, but some of the references hold true and are still the same. Also really like this area that I did up on the top of the roof. Pretty cool, interesting upgrade. It's a lot different from the other ones in terms of its theme. It's definitely one of my favorites though. There's a couple more upgrades to cover, guys. Here is the next one. This is the unfinished library. This is another one that's really different because, you know, I actually pretty much had to build this thing from scratch. Jack didn't give me much to work with here. As you guys know, the famous unfinished library of Danville. Jack started his library, and he never finished it. So I came back 4 years later, and I finished it for him. And this is what I came up with. I used a lot of the kind of Greek and Roman themes here with the columns and the library. Tried to give it like a small little Library of Alexandria reference in the front, because I think that's what Jack said he originally wanted to do with it, which I didn't really know how he was going to do that, so I just decided to make like a subtle reference and then go from there. But yeah, this one's got a nice interior. I like this opening space in the middle with the balconies to the second level with the chandeliers coming down. Basically, it's just a bunch of bookshelves though, because that's what libraries are, a bunch of bookshelves, and we have some computer space in here. Through those doors are the staircases to the next level, and that's about it for the interior of this thing. Going to cover this one real quick. We'll do a little fly around the outside. Mainly built out of sandstone. I added this bell tower at the top just to give it a little bit more. When I finished the build, that was actually the last thing I added. When I finished the build, just wasn't really, I don't know, there was something missing, so I decided to add that bell tower at the top, and I thought that capped off the build perfectly, and also made it one of the tallest builds in Danville because of the height of that bell tower. So there is the unfinished library, finally finished. And now for our second to last upgrade. This one has some similarities to the last one. This was also an unfinished build here in Danville. This was a modern house that I started, built the exterior of it, almost finished it, and then I never even bothered to do the interior or the landscape. So I came back and fully revamped it. And this is what I came up with. And this was what I was talking about earlier when it comes to themes of these modern houses. Again, you're going to see those little slivers of snow. And basically, the whole idea was that the same architect built all these modern houses in this area of the map. So again, that was the theme that I was following for this one. And this one's a lot smaller than the last two simply because it only has 1 floor. There is no staircase or second level on this one. But I really like how the driveway wraps around the back of the build, and there's an external garage on the edge there, kind of crossing right over into the back door of the house. Very open floor plan, kitchen, and then we have the living room in here. And then there's just a bedroom in here. So it's kind of like a bachelor pad, not a huge build, but I really like it. I don't know, it's something worked about it. It's pretty simple, but I think I really like this wood trim that kind of goes around this little panel. I think it works pretty good. It connects well to the back of the house. Ultimately, it's not a huge build, but it just worked. And it's another one of these modern houses in this area that kind of all have the same theme. Alright guys, and for our 12th and final upgrade, we have the Rite Aid. This one I just made a video for on a couple days ago actually. This is the most recent upgrade that has been finished. This is the Rite Aid. We're not going to go into too much detail on this one since it is the last one, and it was literally, the video just came out for it. So again, I'm going to be putting all the videos in the description to all the upgrades so you guys can watch those, and I give a little bit more insight into the detail that I went into them and stuff like that, and just how I built them. So if you're interested in that, absolutely check them out. And here is the Rite Aid. And guys, with all that being said, we've gone through every single Danville upgrade that I built in 2017, all 12 of them. So we averaged 1 per month. I'm actually working on a new one right now, which I'm going to have done probably within the next week. So we're going to be seeing another one of these videos very soon. But guys, this was a fun video to create, kind of recapping all the builds I did this year as the 5-year anniversary of Danville. And you know, this this world has so much character for me. It brings back so many memories. You know, there's not a lot of memories playing video games that I enjoy more than working on Danville with my friends when we first started it. You know, back in January of 2013. So, great memories. Thank you guys for watching this video, tuning in to all these upgrades, all 12 of them, kind of covering them all. It's been a little bit of a long video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, kind of recapping them all. So if you haven't seen all the upgrades, this is the one-stop shop for you. And also check out the old cinematic of the first Danville video. I'm going to put that in the description as well, since that one is definitely an old one, but it's one of my first videos, one of my favorites. So thank you guys for watching. Drop a like if you did enjoy it. Thank you guys for tuning in. 5 years since Danville was started. That's crazy. And guys, it's been Dan Lags. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.